because that class is really just about building their confidence, so they can recognize they are actually having conversations with native speakers, even if they're not perfect. That should be a huge, I always emphasize, it's communication of ideas and understanding of ideas over her perfection. And any of us perfectionists have to like throw that out the window for the 15 minutes that we're going to go and do that thing. Because I mean, like I'm that way too. I get that, but I just tell them, throw it out the window. You can be perfect when you go to practice your written grammar and all that kind of stuff. Work on it there, but for perfection, throw it out the window for these 15 minutes. And I prep them. They actually have 5 conversations, but the first one was with me. So we do a WebEx or a Zoom conversation after like 2 weeks into the semester, one-on-one, just so that I can hear every single student speak in French and I can give them personalized feedback, and so they can experience what it's like to interface through the computer with somebody. And so, we have that one-on-one conversation, and it allows me to kind of give that feedback to everybody holistically one-on-one. And then they jump in for their 4 TalkAbroad conversations. All of the conversations happen towards the end of our unit, and they are all based upon the stuff that we've been practicing in class the entire unit. So, for example, if it's all about me, right? Like I'm 5'4", I've got brown hair that's down to here. Like we've been practicing describing ourselves, and we've been practicing describing other people. So then, after all of the grammar and the vocabulary that's related to talking about the self, and also generally personal activities, I think we talk about things that we do. Then they're going to go and have a conversation where they ask the other person, well, how tall are you? What color eyes do you have? What do you like to do on the weekend? What activities do you do? And so they're recycling basically all the same kinds of things that we're talking about in class, but they're doing it with a native speaker in real time. And then afterwards, we unpack those conversations in class to see if there were any stereotypes that were still being reinforced in that form that they fill out. I can address those in our class conversations. If there's something that seems to be confusing to somebody or an interesting cultural point, then we can talk about those things. So the conversation's topical, and I ask them what they learned about that specific topic, and it's a specific question, so it's geared to that. Then I asked them, was there anything that surprised them or that they found interesting about the conversation and what it was? I really try to tease out individual experiences from cultural norms. So I asked the partner also to say, was this indicative of a cultural norm, or was this just a personal anecdote about what their experience is? I asked them about language, like what were the 2 words that they wish they had known, and then they have to go look it up in Word Reference or another online dictionary and find what the equivalent would be in French. They talk about a linguistic difficulty they encountered and how they tried to work around it. They describe something that they found helpful or motivating or confidence boosting. And they also describe something they found difficult or frustrating or demoralizing. I asked them something that they personally want to improve upon for their next conversation. And then I asked them that question about the next time I teach, should I keep that assignment or not? So those are the kind of, after every single conversation, I'm asking them those kinds of things. So that allows me to kind of see person per person what they're learning and they're experiencing. And if somebody is saying things like, I'm still terrified during these conversations, oh my God, it makes me break out in hives before I do it. Like I can then reach out to that person and try to, help them recognize, look, you're getting 100% just for doing this. This isn't going to ding your grade at all. I don't expect you to be perfect. Most 100 level students aren't going to become French majors. That's the reality. They're there to fill a language requirement, but almost every student wants to study abroad somewhere, whether it's France or not. And so wanting them to recognize that even if they just try a little bit to learn a language, that they can actually have real conversations with native speakers. And so that was super motivating for them at the 100 level. Scary, but motivating after they had done it, right? To see that no, my language isn't perfect, my grammar isn't perfect, my pronunciation isn't perfect, but my partner can actually understand what I'm saying and I can get the gist of what they're saying. And they walk away from that, like feeling really great about themselves.